Hey family, welcome back to One on One with Cut Nice 50. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. If you're new to the channel, hey, it's been an amazing journey. Today, man, we're going to be featuring part 2 of RF Kennedy Jr.'s host American Health Crisis Roundtable with doctors and nutritionists, a second opinion. Like I said before, this is going to be one of the toughest and most challenging videos or segments that I ever had to cover, due to the length of it, and the information that we're going to have to break down going to and give a little bit of feedback about. As a nutrition over the last 13, 14 years, this is something that I take pride in researching and studying and learning more and more each and every day. It's something that I'm passionate about, and it's something that I think is one of my gifts to help others when it comes to health and wellness, get fit, get healthy, stay motivated, and stay inspired. And just stay positive, man. Like I said before, if you only knew the damage that the food causes in our each and every day, it's just remarkable to find that we are too trustworthy. Generally, we don't look at the labels no more. We just see something we like, we heard that it's good, and we just go ahead and eat it or consume it, not knowing that we're actually poisoning ourselves when it comes to our immunity, our gut health, and other things that come from it, chronic diseaseness, illness, and whatever the case may be. Always consult with your physician about any medical advice or anything that you want to try or attempt when it comes to diets and stuff like that. But a good doctor, if you have medical complications, generally I recommend you seek out a nutritionist like myself or any other professional one, or somebody that is partnered to tackle your nutrition first, and then see if that actually helps with your complications when it comes to medical complications. But with that being said, man, I'm excited about this second episode right here. Today we're going to be talking about Mikhaila Peterson Fuller, podcast influencer, co-founder of At the Lion Diet and CEO of Peterson Academy. Had to research a little bit of myself because I didn't know too much about her prior to this episode, but I did hear her story. It's an amazing story. She's a big believer in the ketogenic, plant-free diet, because she had medical complications, and they actually set her complications into remission. And that was kind of after she had the birth of her, I guess, her first child, and she was off medications. And like I said before, I'm not a big believer in traditional medicine itself. I do believe that we can heal any ailment or get rid of diseases and the complications that we have if we maintain a healthier and balanced lifestyle when it comes to diet, nutrition, fitness level, you name it. I believe that we actually cause our bodies harm. And, if you're a faith believer, then you already know that the spirit is eternal and our bodies is only temporary. The flesh, it dies each and every day, but we can prolong it by feeding it the energy and the tools, the energy and everything else that it needs to do to thrive at its fullest and at its best. Each and every day, we can slow down those aging biomarkers that we're just cursed. Not really, I don't want to say cursed, that we're supposed to have each and every day. That's just the way that our life is right now, currently. But it is always hope. It's just a life lesson. It's a learning lesson. I always tell people, I know aging is a sensitive topic that none of us want to get aged. We want to look our best, we want to feel our best, but it's a great thing about beauty. I love the birth when women give birth to kids, that something that's remarkable that men will never understand and go through it. So I cherish everything about that process, no matter the consequences that happens to like the female body after it. A lot of people may not think the way I think, but I love women for having that ability to endure things that they are placed on this earth to do, as far as expand human life and this the nurturing sense. It's the yin and yang for me. It's the men are meant to do one thing, women are meant to do another thing, but we both need each other to make that each other whole. No matter what some of these other people out there are preaching, that men and women need to be separate and all the other stuff. I don't get into it. That's their own opinion. It's not biblical though. So I don't even pay it no attention. It doesn't do me no mind, but people are always searching and looking for things outside of biblical views. And we try to lean it onto our own interpretation. And that's our own failing. We fail each other by not listening and not actually relying to God for the answers that it tells us, because we are stiff-necked. We are just hard-headed. That's the easiest way I can do it. But let's go ahead and jump right on into this round table. I had to ram on a little bit. Like I said before, this is a challenging one because I don't want to face no copyright. All these videos are educational, informational purposes only. Fair Use Act is in full effect. And we're just going to interject just a little bit there, but this is an important episode that each and every person out there needs to know about, and have the sense that if I am facing a medical complication and I don't know what to do, and I do seek medical advice, but I don't like it, it's always second opinions you can get yourself, because it's your decision about your body. That's at the end of the day. It's only you can make those decisions with the advice of your family, friends, and just make whatever works for you. So you can always reach out to other people for second opinions. I'm big about that, but don't be scared to ask for a second opinion. That's one thing. But let's go ahead and jump right on into it. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. And with that, let's go.
Our next presenter is Mikhaila Peterson Fuller. Ms. Fuller is a podcaster, lifestyle, and diet blogger, the co-founder, and CEO of Peterson Academy, and the founder of Fuller Health and the Lion Diet. The Lion Diet is a therapeutic and plant-free ketogenic diet that can be used to treat autoimmunity and psychiatric disorders. On the Mikhaila Peterson podcast, she discusses health, cultural phenomena, politics, and other topics. Ms. Fuller.
Thank you very much. I'm going to skip my intro. When I was 2, I started to limp, and at 7, I was diagnosed with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis in 37 joints. At age 8, I was put on injectable immunosuppressants. At 12, I was diagnosed with severe depression and put on antidepressants. At 14, I was diagnosed with idiopathic hypersomnia, which is a fancy definition for chronic fatigue, and I could barely get out of bed for years. My hip and ankle were replaced when I was 17 from the arthritis that wasn't managed by the medications I was on. And I spent a year on OxyContin, limping around what felt like broken bones, trying to stay hopeful and not kill myself. I went to university for biomedical science when it became apparent that nobody in the medical system could help me, and the life-saving treatments I was on weren't saving my life. When I was 23, I completely changed my diet, which was radical, and I didn't think it was going to work. I removed processed foods and only ate whole foods, primarily meat, and my life changed rapidly. I felt like I had stepped out of hell I didn't know that I was trapped into heaven. It turned my world upside down. Then I had to get off of the medications I was on. Antidepressant withdrawal, that neither me nor my doctors knew existed, was worse than the opiate withdrawal I had been through after I was treated with OxyContin. After I stopped taking the 8 medications I was on and had a baby, my autoimmune symptoms and depression started sneaking back in. And willing to do anything to not be sick, I tried, this sounds ridiculous, but I tried eating only meat. And by that I mean beef, salt, and water only, knowing beef was the one food that didn't contribute to my arthritis and depression. Eating only meat put my symptoms into remission again in 6 weeks. I've only been eating beef and lamb for 7 years now in order to keep my symptoms in remission. I'm not on any medication. I have no symptoms of disease. I'm in complete remission after spending 16 years being medicated with multiple joints replaced. I spent 7 years trying to get the medical community to take this seriously and conduct some studies. The plant-free ketogenic diet I'm on, which is what it is, it's gone viral on TikTok, has over 500,000 people following it on social media. The number of Google searches for these ketogenic diets has skyrocketed since about 2017. I have groups online with over 30,000 people who follow the same diet as me for autoimmunity and mental disorders that they've been unable to treat any other way. These people are putting their diseases into remissions after decades. This way of treating disease has garnered international attention from the Times to Fox to Sky News Australia.
Like I said, this young lady right here has an amazing story. She has health and complications. I'm not a big believer in the ketogenic diet, but I know it can work temporarily to, just like you say, put disorders in remission. Any diet. I'm a big believer that any diet, anything you do consistently, while eliminating other things that can cause your body harm, can also help your body thrive. even with that being said, I still do believe that even biblically that grains, fruits and veggies and all the other stuff is what we're meant to eat as human beings to actually thrive and live longer than we expected life expectancy without all these extra chemicals. I don't necessarily believe that it's the food itself. It's just the chemicals that they're putting in the foods that we suffer from. I think our bodies is so unique that God made us that we're able to thrive off of anything that we eat and actually believe that it's doing what it we intended for us to do. That's I think, our own superpower, which goes unnoticed by the human body. We're able to adapt to any situation, not necessarily mean it's the best thing for you, but if you're eliminating 90 something percent of other foods and you're eating only one food source, you eliminate a whole lot of other threat of hosts, processed sugars, carbs, everything else that can go into play that can damage your body. So this is your main primarily food. Of course, your body should thrive. Share your thoughts. Let me know what you think about that. I'm gonna put an intro in the studio probably at the beginning of this video, so you may or may not be able to tell from it that I'm gonna at least highlight this young lady. Full link always in the description section below. But let's go ahead and continue to hear her amazing journey, her story. Let me know your experience with the ketogenic diet or any diet like this to treat medical conditions and illnesses, and what was your outcome?
The problem is most people don't know that what they're consuming is making them sick. They know junk food is bad, but they don't realize it's causing chronic disease.
Yes.
And neither do their healthcare providers. When you're diagnosed with a mental or autoimmune disorder, diet and the state of your gut isn't even mentioned. If it is brought up, you're ostracized. One of the leading theories, to get a bit nerdy, in understanding chronic illness is increased intestinal permeability, which you can measure with lab work with zonulin levels. In a healthy digestive system, the gut lining serves as a barrier, allowing nutrients to pass through while keeping harmful substances out of the bloodstream. However, because of the high carb recommendations and ultra processed foods we're exposed to and chemicals, we're currently encouraged to consume from the food pyramid and our doctors. Our diets damage our gut barrier, which causes particles from the gut to leak into the bloodstream. A lot of the chemicals and preservatives in foods we consume are actually illegal in other countries. I spent years so livid at the medical industry that I wouldn't go into a hospital.
And just like she's saying before, I don't believe myself personally in going to hospitals unless it's an absolute life or death situation, necessity. But I never persuade or try to put my opinion or sway anybody else from going to hospitals and things like that. My main belief system is I want to actually cure whatever illness, ailments, or condition that we have as humans instead of treating the symptoms temporarily, if that makes sense. But just like this young lady, like I said before, this is one of the main reasons I became a nutritionist. And instead of when I started my supplementation company, instead of coming out with protein, pre-workout, aminos, my first product was Envy, which was the organic greens and probiotics, and we sold out every year. Hopefully next year, mid-year, in the year, that we able to get it back on the market. I was one of the first companies out there to have live probiotics in the organic greens in the U.S. So that's just point blank. There's been a lot of people that actually copied and duplicated and try to, over the years you get products better and stuff like that than my product, but they couldn't copy it. It's only one original Envy organic green supplement out there. I did all my research. It took me over 12, 15 years to create my product. So, I was very proud of it and stuff like that. But of course, pandemic, small businesses, you got to go. But we hit over that 5-year mark. And, we did what we had to do. So that's was one of my main things was gut health. I used to be a big follower of Dr. Sebi, and I have to agree with his statement on it. He don't believe that no disease, illness, or cancer can survive inside the body if you have a healthy gut. That's just it. Everything stems from the gut. Your gut health is so important that it goes unrecognized. But if you can't, if bacteria and all these other illnesses can't multiply, how can it spread throughout your body? let's go ahead and continue to share your thoughts. Let me know what you think.
I'd be treated with medications and end up losing joints when dietary intervention works. How dare these medical doctors tell me there was nothing I can do? I'd never be where I am today without this diet. I truly believed I would have died. I'm not suggesting the average person does this extreme version of a ketogenic diet. I am specifically suggesting that this diet is researched as a potential treatment for autoimmunity and psychiatric disorders with the goal of eventually healing the gut and reintroducing more healthy, whole foods, and that the ideological war on meat needs to end. I've seen tens of thousands of people see complete remission in as little as 6 weeks. Most drugs don't work that fast, and no drug fixes the root cause. Approximately 1 in 4 Americans are on psychiatric medications for psychiatric illness, and approximately 1 in 10 has an autoimmune disorder. I believe all these millions of people could be symptom-free with proper dietary interventions ranging from low-carb to ketogenic to plant-free ketogenic to whole food, depending on the severity of the illness. Dietary intervention is what doctors should suggest first before putting people on medications that do not treat the underlying problem, some of which cause horrible dependence, making them nearly impossible to get off of. Treating chronic disease, which we now know is caused by the environment and our diet, without looking at diet as the treatment, should be considered malpractice. My request, shared by millions of people using these diets to treat themselves, is for the government to fund studies on ketogenic and plant-free ketogenic diets as potential treatments for autoimmunity and psychiatric disorders. There are only a few studies on this because of the lack of funding. One study shows remission in treatments of Crohn's disease, which is a terrible intestinal autoimmune disorder that can result in people using colostomy bags for the rest of their life. Another study shows complete remission of anorexia. Unless people start being treated with dietary interventions using these ketogenic diets, and the food pyramid prioritizes meat and low-carb whole foods so that people can avoid becoming chronically ill in the first place, and Americans are told that the ultra-processed foods aren't just unhealthy, they're making us chronically ill, America's going to get fatter, sicker, more mentally ill, and more expensive. If the government funds these studies, America could be at the forefront of these scientific discoveries. Thank you very much for your time. It's an honor to be here.
I guess Senator John, I think he's going to answer a couple of questions, but share your thought on her story, her perception on the plant-free ketogenic diet. And I guess she posted it, probably is going viral out there. If you heard of it, if you know a story, if you know what kind of diet is specifically, I might research it myself, but I'm a big believer in plants. And I was a meat eater, 40 something plus years. So I did, but it always did my body decently well. I was at my strongest, fittest, stuff like that. But I know that my body actually thrived and reversed like age and other ailments, stuff like that. Once I went to straight plant-based. Any diet myself, share your beliefs on it. Any diet, I don't care what you're doing. If you eliminate processed foods, sugars, sweets, all the other stuff, and you sticking to a strict meal plan, I think we can thrive and it can be beneficial for you. That diet specifically is for people with medical conditions. It's a little extreme, but I believe that it can work, So I have to just find out more information about it. If I do find it, I will link it in the description section of this video. But share your thoughts, and let's go to the Senator John's question. So,
thank you, Mikhaila. By the way, the format of this is opening statements. If there are some questions following up, again, I'll encourage the panelists just do that. And I'll recognize, I just have one quick question, Mikhaila. This seems to be a pretty dramatic solution for you. How did you arrive at it? I mean, what doctors, just do this on your own with your father, or how did you come to this solution?
So originally the processed foods are just eating meat. That was sheer desperation. So my autoimmune symptoms started to come back after I had a baby and got off all the medications. And I knew that I had got them under control in the first place with diet. And that wasn't doing enough for me. And so I figured, why not reduce my diet to one variable that I hope is sustainable? Turns out it is sustainable. That was mostly based on hope. And then the idea was to reintroduce other foods and figure out what was causing reactions. Now, I'm still on the diet. which is why research needs to be done. Maybe if research is done, we can figure out
So you
how to
did
get
this,
other foods
you
in.
did this all on your own. There's no doctor that recommended this to you. You just did this strictly on your own.
Oh yeah, my rheumatologist dropped me. My doctors dropped me. It was infuriating.
Well, again, thank you for sharing that story. Our next presenter is Dr. Jordan.
Like I said before, I just wanted to share that quick clip right there. This episode 2 of the Roundtable, Health and Wellness Roundtable. Y'all already know my guy, RF Kennedy Jr. He hosts the American Health Crisis Roundtable with doctors and nutritionists. They also have, I guess, influencers and people who sharing their life stories, their trials and tribulations when it comes to their battles with health and wellness. If you experience anything out there, have you ever tried it as a nutrition myself, helping others when it comes to, and this is not medical advice by no means. This is on my own personal experiences, helping guys who battle with low testosterone, making my own herbal testosterone boosters. Majority of the stuff in the stores, these over-the-counter stuff, doesn't actually work. It's not testosterone in them. You know what I mean? But we're in a state in America right now that means testosterone levels is so low that it's shocking. I did a video years ago, and it's still on the channel somewhere about testosterone levels. It had all the stats, the data, everything else. So y'all can browse that on the channel, and you can see the numbers are astounding when I said men who struggling with low testosterone. So finding boosters and natural plants like, zinc, teacher's plant. I mean, you name it. There's so many natural plants, but they got to be in the right dosage and your body weight, your fitness level. Everything else comes into play when it comes to that stuff like that. But anything can help slowly. But the thing that helps the fastest is sleep, recovery, cutting out processed sugars and sweets, maintaining, fitness, a healthy diet, nutrition plan. All those things helps faster than if you just go ahead and take medication or anything else, whether it's herbally or traditional medicine. But always, like I said, always maybe put this disclaimer in there: seek your medical advice from your own doctors. These are just my own opinions and perceptions from my own living experiences and my profession as a nutritionist over the last 13, 14 years. But with that being said, man, like I said, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. This is going to be a long one. This is a tough segment right here that I'm covering just because it's a 4-hour video. And I want to cover all the important information that we need to know. And even if we don't really want to know, it could help so many other people understand how our health and wellness is impacted each and every day without us knowing. But thanks for tuning in. My Eyes Finally Healing project is over. We should be back in full-fledged our form starting next week. So December the 1st, man, we're hitting our nutrition fitness level extra hard. We're going to be strict, no processed foods, no processed sugars. And I'm going to try to just cook all the meals that I'm going to be consuming in the house and actually get back to meal prepping my meals. But thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. And with that, we out.